Yo, what's good everybody? Grab a seat, maybe a drink, and settle in because we're diving headfirst into a saga that's got the internet buzzing like a beehive on X. Nick Cannon and his relentless, absolutely jaw-dropping mission to father a whole legion of kids. The man's got 12 children with 6 different women, and he's showing no signs of hitting the brakes, not even a slight tap. Is he crafting a legendary dynasty to echo through generations, chasing a fleeting dopamine high that never lasts, or spiraling out of control right in front of our eyes, leaving chaos in his wake? From his fairy tale romance with Mariah Carey to a string of maternity photos that keep X absolutely lit up like a Christmas tree, Nick's life is a wild, intoxicating cocktail of charisma, chaos, and pure unfiltered drama. The internet's serving memes faster than you can scroll, jokes about Nick building his own nation, his own school district, even his own city council. But behind the laughs, there's a burning question that's got everyone talking, from X to TikTok to your group chat. What's driving this guy to keep expanding his family, coast to coast, with no end in sight? Some point to his lupus diagnosis, saying he's racing against time to cement a legacy before it's too late. Others see a psyche fractured by his divorce, unraveling in real time like a reality show we can't stop watching. A few whisper it's a power play, flexing hypermasculinity in a world that's glued to his every move. We're peeling back every single layer of this crazy, complicated, and deeply human story, and we need you in the mix to make sense of it all. In the comments below, how many more kids do you think Nick Cannon will have? And one more. Do you think he's redefining what fatherhood means in a bold new way, or just creating a hot mess that's impossible to sustain? Oh, and let's get one more in. What's the wildest Nick Cannon baby meme you've seen on X? Drop it below because we're about to dive into this wild, wild ride. Nick Cannon wasn't born a star. He built his empire from the ground up with nothing but hustle, charm, and a preacher's son work ethic. Born in San Diego in 1980, he grew up in a tight-knit church-going family, son of a preacher, with a gift for making people laugh so hard they'd cry. His childhood wasn't all rosy, money was tight, and he saw his share of struggle, but that only fueled his drive. By his teens, he was stealing the spotlight on Nickelodeon's All That, dropping jokes that had audiences rolling in the aisles and execs taking notice. The early 2000s were his breakout era. Drumline in 2002 showed he could act, playing a cocky drummer with heart and soul that resonated with fans across the country. Then came Wild 'N Out, the MTV improv show that didn't just succeed, it became a cultural juggernaut, cementing Nick's rep as a quick-witted hustler who could hold his own with anybody, from rappers to comedians. By 2008, he'd pulled off the ultimate flex, marrying Mariah Carey, the undisputed queen of pop, in a whirlwind romance that had X buzzing with envy, awe, and a little bit of disbelief. Their twins, Monroe and Moroccan, born in 2011, seemed like the start of a perfect untouchable story. X posts from those days hyped their power couple vibes, calling them the ultimate Hollywood dream team that could do no wrong. But shadows were creeping in, health struggles with lupus, relentless ambition to outshine his wife's spotlight, and a need to prove he was more than just a funny guy in Mariah's shadow. Even then, whispers of trouble followed, minor scandals, tabloid rumors about his fidelity, and questions about whether he could handle the pressure. His preacher roots kept him grounded, but the Hollywood spotlight pulled harder, whispering promises of immortality through fame. What laid the groundwork for his wild journey? It wasn't just fame, it was a storm brewing deep inside, waiting for the right moment to break free. In the comments, what do you think made Nick a star? Was it his raw talent, his relentless hustle, or just pure magnetic charisma? The storm hit full force when Nick and Mariah split in 2014, finalizing their divorce in 2016. That wasn't just a breakup, it was like an earthquake rocked Nick's entire world, shaking loose something he couldn't control or contain. He's admitted he was a toxic partner back then, lying, cheating, and breaking trust without a second thought, leaving a trail of hurt in his wake. Post Mariah, he embraced what he calls consensual non-monogamy, selling it as a new kind of freedom, a modern, enlightened approach to love and relationships. But let's keep it 100. Was it freedom or chaos dressed up in a fancy suit to make it look intentional? X posts suggest that divorce shattered something deep inside him, leaving Nick chasing a void he couldn't name or fill, no matter how hard he tried. Instead of sitting with the grief, reflecting, or rebuilding, he went full throttle, welcoming kid after kid with new partners who popped up like plot twists in a soap opera that never ends. Psychologists might call it a coping mechanism, a desperate attempt to fill the hole Mariah left behind with new connections, new lives, new proof of his worth. She was stability, fame, structure, a grounding force in a chaotic world that kept him tethered. Without her, Nick scattered himself across multiple households, building a fragmented empire that looks impressive on paper but feels unstable when you dig deeper. The transcript hints at a psyche unraveling, and ex-users are eating it up, speculating about what pushed him over the edge. Grief, ego, or a need to control his legacy before it's too late? Was it heartbreak driving him to this frenzy? A bruised ego from losing a superstar wife? Or a deeper existential need to prove he's still the man in a world that's always watching? X-threads dive into his past, resurfacing old interviews where he talked about feeling less than next to Mariah's fame. In the comments, what do you think broke Nick after his split with Mariah? Was it just a broken heart or something way deeper that's still pushing him to this day? And one more. What's one thing Nick could have done differently post-divorce to avoid this chaos? Nick's family tree didn't just grow, it exploded like a fireworks show that won't quit, lighting up the sky with every new announcement. After the twins with Mariah, he welcomed kids with Brittany Bell, Abby De La Rosa, Alyssa Scott, Bray Tiesi, and Lanisha Cole. A staggering 12 by 2025, each with a unique name that's got X buzzing. Golden, Powerful, Zion, Zillion, Legendary, Onyx. The list reads like a superhero roster. Each new birth hit X like a breaking news alert, with memes flying faster than you can say baby shower. Nick's got a kid for every month, one viral post joked, racking up thousands of likes and retweets. But the logistics are absolutely mind-boggling, like a puzzle with too many pieces. How does one guy juggle 6 co-parents and a dozen kids while hosting The Masked Singer, running a media empire, and dodging tabloid headlines that never let up? Alyssa Scott dropped a bombshell in May 2025, claiming Nick hadn't seen their daughter Halo in over a month, sparking a firestorm on X that's still burning. Users dragged him, posting, "Money don't buy time, Nick," and questioning how he balances it all when his schedule's packed tighter than a sold-out concert. Nick insists he's present for every child, showing up with gifts, love, and FaceTime calls, but the transcript cites studies, like one from the Journal of Marriage and Family, showing dads with kids in multiple homes struggle to stay connected, no matter how much they try or how deep their pockets are. X is split down the middle. Some call him a dedicated dad, stretching himself to the limit. Others say he's biting off way more than he can chew, leaving kids to feel the absence like a shadow. The internet's buzzing with debates about his parenting, his priorities, and whether this sprawling family can hold together. In the comments, is Nick a good dad, or is he spread too thin to make it work? And one more. Which of his co-parents do you think faces the toughest challenge keeping up with this wild, sprawling circus? Nick's 2012 lupus diagnosis flipped his world upside down, and it's a key piece of this intricate puzzle. Hospitalized multiple times, he once believed he wouldn't live past 40, a fear that X-posts say is the engine behind his baby boom, driving him to create life at a breakneck pace. The transcript suggests he's building a legacy out of panic, racing against time to leave a mark before his clock runs out. Like a man running from his own shadow, Nick's own words back this up. In March 2025 on We Playin' Spades, he rejected a vasectomy, saying he's leaving it to divine purpose, like it's all part of a higher plan written in the stars. X-users are divided. Some see a man wrestling with his own mortality, pouring his energy into creating life as a way to defy death. Others call it a validation chase, using kids to prove his virility and power in a world that's always judging. Legacy sounds noble, but the transcript warns it's shaky when kids feel the sting of absence, growing up with a dad who's more a myth than a constant presence in their lives. X is buzzing with questions about what's really driving him: faith, fear, or just a need to flex his masculinity. Some posts even dig into his church background, wondering if his preacher father's influence plays a role in his divine mindset. In the comments, what's fueling Nick's kid count? Fear of death, spiritual belief, or a straight up ego trip? This story's way bigger than Nick. It's about the Black family and its deep, complicated, and often painful roots. The transcript drops a heavy stat. In 2010, 72% of Black babies were born out of wedlock, a pattern tied to historical wounds like slavery, mass incarceration, and economic pressure that tore families apart for centuries. Nick's not just a celebrity, he's a symbol in a much larger conversation that's been brewing for generations. Is he breaking those cycles, building a new model of family that embraces modern realities? babies? Or is he reinforcing old patterns, normalizing chaos that leaves kids to carry the weight of instability? X debates are heated. Some call him a visionary dad, crafting a modern family structure that defies tradition and celebrates abundance. Others say he's perpetuating a cycle of instability, setting a risky example for young men and women watching his every move. His choices don't just affect his households, they ripple out, shaping how the next generation views love, family, and responsibility in a world that's already fractured. The transcript warns of generational patterns, and ex-users are picking it apart, asking if Nick's lifestyle is progress or a dangerous step backward that could echo for years. Some posts point to historical figures like Fela Kuti, who had multiple wives and kids, wondering if Nick's drawing from a cultural playbook. In the comments, is Nick's family model a bold step forward for black families, or a slide back into old traps that we're still fighting to escape? Nick's co-parents, Mariah, Brittany, Abby, Alyssa, Bree, Lanisha, aren't just along for the ride. They're key players in this unfolding drama. The transcript suggests some may be chasing status or love through Nick, caught in their own psychological loops that keep them tethered to his chaos like moths to a flame. X notes their credentials: models, DJs, entrepreneurs, but questions why they'd sign up for this circus when the challenges are so clear. Psychologists point to a scarcity mindset where women settle for less, hoping a child ties them to a man forever, even if he's spread across 6 households like a modern-day nomad. Some X posts are brutal, calling them opportunists chasing fame or financial security. Others see women seeking connection in a world where love feels fleeting and hard to hold. Mariah's the outlier. Her fame and wealth dwarf Nick's, giving her a different kind of leverage. But the others, they're navigating a high-stakes game, balancing independence with emotional ties to a man who's always moving, always creating. X threads dive into their backgrounds, noting Brittany's pageant past or Abby's DJ career, asking what draws them to Nick's orbit. In the comments, why do you think these women choose to join Nick's wild family circus? Is it love, status, or something deeper that's hard to pin down? Can Nick keep this up? 12 kids, 6 households, mounting legal fees, and a brand taking hits. Something's gotta give, right? X rumors are swirling about new pregnancies in 2025, maybe even new partners, keeping the internet on edge like a season finale cliffhanger. Financially, Nick's loaded, his wild and out empire, hosting gigs and production deals bring in millions. But time's the real enemy, and it's undefeated. No one can be in 6 places at once, no matter how much money's in the bank or how many private jets you charter. Ex-users question if he'll crash, emotionally, financially, or both. Under the weight of it all, the transcript warns of overstretched dads, and Nick's own comments about divine purpose don't quiet the doubts. He said he's not done having kids, but at what cost? X posts speculate about burnout, legal battles over child support, or even his health giving out under the pressure of lupus and stress. Some users bring up his 2021 loss of Megan, wondering if grief is pushing him to keep creating life. In the comments, how long can Nick sustain this baby boom before it all falls apart? The internet's got Nick on trial, and X is the courtroom where everyone's a judge. Memes roast him. Nick's got more kids than a school bus, while supporters defend his hustle, saying he's providing for everyone, from diapers to college funds. Critics slam his choices, pointing to kids who might feel like afterthoughts in a crowded family tree. The transcript calls out the danger of normalizing this pattern, asking what it teaches the next generation about love, family, and responsibility. It's not just gossip, it's a cultural flashpoint, sparking debates about masculinity, fatherhood, and what legacy really means. In the comments below, how many more kids do you think Nick Cannon will have? Nick's saga is a roller coaster. Fame, heartbreak, kids, and endless controversy that keeps us hooked. Is he a visionary carving a bold new path through uncharted territory, or a man lost in his own storm, leaving chaos in his wake? His 12 kids, lupus fears, and X's non-stop chatter keep us glued to this drama like it's the finale of a Netflix series. Drop your final thoughts in the comments. What's next for Nick? Will he keep building this empire, or will it all come crashing down like a house of cards? Let's keep this conversation blazing, because this story's far from over, and the next twist could be the wildest yet.